Jake Morrison stepped off the transport shuttle and looked around the massive space station. The place was bigger than anything he had ever seen. Lights stretched as far as he could see in every direction. Strange beings walked past him, talking in languages he did not understand. Some were tall and thin with blue skin. Others looked like living crystals that sparkled when they moved. A few had tentacles instead of arms. He was the first human to attend Zentari Academy, the most important school in the galaxy. Jake felt nervous but excited. He had studied hard to get this chance. His geology degree from Colorado State University had impressed the alien professors enough to accept him. Now he stood in the heart of galactic civilization, ready to learn. A tall blue alien approached him. She moved like a dancer, smooth and graceful. Her skin was the color of a clear sky, and her eyes were bright silver. She wore robes that seemed to float around her thin frame. "You must be the human student," she said. Her voice was musical, like wind chimes. "I am Zara Velanoth, head of the student council. Welcome to Zentari Academy." Jake smiled and held out his hand. "Jake Morrison, nice to meet you." Zara looked at his hand with confusion. She did not know what the gesture meant. After a moment, she touched his fingers lightly with her own. Her skin felt cool and smooth. "Follow me," she said. "I will show you to your quarters." As they walked through the station, Jake noticed how the other students stared at him. Some whispered to their friends. Others took pictures with small devices. He felt like an animal in a zoo. The corridors were huge and curved. The walls glowed with soft light. Jake had to look up to see the ceiling. Everything was built for beings much taller than humans. He felt small and out of place. "Your room is in the lower section," Zara explained. "We had to make special changes for your species. The gravity, air, and temperature are set to Earth standards." "Thanks," Jake said. "I appreciate that." "It was necessary," Zara replied. "Your species seems very fragile. We did not want you to die during your first week." Jake frowned. Fragile? Humans were pretty tough, he thought. But he did not want to argue on his first day. They passed a group of crystal beings. They looked like living diamonds, each one a different color. When they saw Jake, they stopped talking and stared. One of them spoke in a voice like breaking. "Glass, is that the primitive species?" it asked. "Yes," Zara answered. "The human from the backwater world." Jake's face grew hot. Backwater world. Earth was pretty amazing, actually. But again, he stayed quiet. His room was small but comfortable. It had a bed, a desk, and a window that looked out at the stars. The air felt right, and the gravity was normal. Jake set down his bags and looked around. "Classes start tomorrow," Zara said. "Try not to break anything." "These facilities are delicate." After she left, Jake unpacked his things. He had brought photos of his family, his dog, and the mountains near his home. He also had a small rock collection from Colorado. The rocks were nothing special, just pieces of granite and quartz he had found hiking. But they reminded him of home. The next morning, Jake went to his first class. It was called Introduction to Galactic Civilization. The professor was another blue alien like Zara, but older. His name was Professor Nexvara. "Today we will discuss the different types of worlds where intelligent life can develop," the professor said. "Most civilized species come from Class 1 worlds. These are paradise planets with perfect weather, calm seas, and gentle conditions." Jake looked around the room. There were about 30 students from a dozen different species. All of them nodded, as if this made perfect sense. "Class 2 worlds have some challenges," the professor continued. "Maybe the seasons change, or there are occasional storms. But these worlds are still quite comfortable. A few hardy species come from Class 3 worlds, which require some adaptation but remain livable." A student raised her hand. She was one of the aquatic beings with blue-green skin and gills on her neck. "What about the theoretical Class 4 and 5 worlds, Professor?" Good question," Professor Nexvara said. "Those would be much more dangerous. Strong storms, active volcanoes, extreme temperatures. No known civilization has ever developed on such worlds. The conditions would be too harsh for a complex life. Jake listened with interest. This was completely different from what he had learned about planets back on Earth. What about Deathworlds? Asked another student. This one looked like a giant insect with 4 arms. The professor laughed. Deathworlds are pure fantasy. These would be planets so dangerous that just landing on them would kill most species. Imagine worlds with constant earthquakes, deadly weather, poisonous atmosphere, and creatures that hunt other creatures for food. No intelligent life could possibly evolve in such conditions. Jake raised his hand. Professor, what class is Earth? The room went quiet. Professor Nexvara looked confused. Earth? Your homeworld? I am not sure. Let me check the database. The professor worked on his computer while the class waited. Jake noticed that the other students were watching him with new interest. Some looked curious, others seemed worried. This is strange, the professor said. Earth was never properly classified when your species was discovered. The survey was incomplete. Let me do a quick analysis now. More typing. The professor's expression changed from confusion to concern. There must be an error in the data, he said. According to this, your world has frequent earthquakes, massive storms, temperature swings of over 100 degrees, and active volcanoes. The gravity is much higher than most civilized worlds. The atmosphere contains poison gas that would kill most species. That sounds about right, Jake said. Though I wouldn't call oxygen a poison gas. The class stared at him. A few students moved their chairs away from his desk. You live on a world with active volcanoes? Asked the insect student. Sure, Jake said. There's a big one near my home called Mount Elbert. Well, it's not really active anymore, but Yellowstone could blow up any time. That would be pretty bad. Yellowstone? Professor Nexvara asked. It's a supervolcano, Jake explained. If it erupts, it could destroy half the continent. But it probably won't happen for thousands of years, so we don't worry about it much. The silence in the room was complete. Jake looked around at the shocked faces of his classmates. He had no idea that he had just described something that sounded like a nightmare to every other species in the galaxy. We will continue this discussion next class, Professor Nexvara said. His voice was shaking slightly. As the students filed out, Jake heard them whispering. He caught words like Deathworld and impossible and how are they still alive? Jake packed up his books and headed to his next class. He had no idea that news of the human from the impossible world was already spreading through the academy. By the end of the day, every student and professor would know about the species that somehow survived on a planet that should have killed them. Billions of years ago, he was just happy to be there, learning about the galaxy. He had no idea that he was about to become the most feared student in the history of Zentari Academy. 3 weeks had passed since Jake's first day at the academy. Word about the human student had spread throughout the station. Students would point at him in the halls and whisper to their friends. Some came up to ask him questions about Earth. Though they seemed nervous when they did, Jake sat in his xenobiology class, listening to Dr. Kala Venthia discuss extreme environments. Dr. Venthia was a crystalline being who sparkled purple when she talked. Her voice sounded like musical notes. Today we will examine theoretical deathworlds, she said. These are planets that exist only in our imagination. No real world could be this dangerous and still support life. Jake opened his notebook and started taking notes. This was interesting stuff. A death world would have massive storms, Dr. Venthia continued. Winds of perhaps 50 miles per hour. Such speeds would destroy most buildings and kill anyone caught outside. Jake looked up from his notes. 50 miles per hour? That's not really that fast. The class turned to stare at him. Dr. Venthia's crystalline surface stopped sparkling. I'm sorry, Jake. Did you say something? Oh, sorry, Jake said. I just meant that 50 miles per hour isn't really a big storm. We get winds like that pretty often back home. A real bad storm might have winds of 200 miles per hour. A student in the front row made a choking sound. It was Zara, the blue-skinned council head. 200 miles per hour? That's impossible. Nothing could survive such winds. Well, the buildings get damaged pretty bad, Jake admitted. But people usually just go inside and wait for the hurricane to pass. Hurricane? Dr. Venthia asked. Yeah, they're these big spinning storms that come up from the ocean. The eye can be 20 miles across, and the whole storm might be 300 miles wide. They're pretty dangerous, but we have warning systems so people can get ready. The room was completely silent. Jake noticed that several students were recording him with their devices. You said this happens often? Dr. Venthia asked. Every year, Jake said. Sometimes we get 10 or 15 hurricanes in a season. The big ones can flood whole cities and knock down forests. But we rebuild afterward. A student near the back raised her hand. She was one of the aquatic beings with gills and webbed fingers. What about earthquakes? A theoretical Deathworld might have ground movement of perhaps 1 or 2 inches. 1 or 2 inches? Jake laughed. That's not even worth getting out of bed for. A real earthquake moves the ground several feet. The big one in Japan moved the whole island 8 feet to the east. It also created a tsunami that was over 100 feet tall. What is a tsunami? Asked another student. It's when an earthquake under the ocean pushes up a huge wave. This wall of water moves across the ocean at 500 miles per hour. When it hits land, it can wash away entire towns. Jake noticed that Dr. Venthia was frantically typing on her computer. Her crystalline body was flickering between different colors. Jake, she said carefully, how do humans survive these disasters? Well, lots of people die, Jake said. The tsunami in Japan killed about 20,000 people, but most humans lived through it. We're pretty good at surviving stuff like that. A crystal student in the middle row spoke up. His voice sounded like wind chimes. What about volcanoes? Could a Deathworld have active volcanoes? Oh, sure, Jake said. Earth has about 1,500 active volcanoes. Some of them erupt all the time. Hawaii has one that's been erupting for over 30 years. You can actually visit it and watch the lava flow. You visit active volcanoes? Zara asked. Her silver eyes were wide with shock. It's a pretty popular tourist spot, Jake explained. People come from all over the world to see it. You have to be careful not to get too close to the lava, but it's really beautiful. Dr. Venthia was typing even faster now. Jake, what would you say is the most dangerous natural disaster on Earth? Jake thought for a moment. Probably supervolcanoes. There's one under Yellowstone that could kill millions of people if it erupts. The ash would block out the sun for years and cause a nuclear winter. Nuclear winter? Yeah, it's when so much ash gets thrown into the atmosphere that it blocks sunlight. The temperature drops all over the planet. Plants die, animals starve, and civilization basically collapses. The class was staring at him in horror. Jake realized he might be scaring them, but like I said, it probably won't happen for thousands of years, he added quickly. Maybe tens of thousands, so we don't worry about it too much. A new voice spoke from the back of the room. What about the weather? Does Earth have extreme temperatures? Jake turned around. The speaker was a fuzzy, bear-like creature with 6 arms. He had never seen this species before. Well, it depends where you live, Jake said. In Alaska, it can get down to 70 degrees below zero. In Death Valley, it might reach 130 degrees above zero. That's a pretty big range. 200 degrees of difference? Dr. Venthia asked. Actually, it's more like 200 degrees, Jake corrected. From minus 70 to plus 130, but humans live in both places. We just wear different clothes. The bear creature raised 2 of its arms. How do you survive such temperature changes? Humans are pretty adaptable, Jake said. We can live almost anywhere on Earth. Deserts, mountains, frozen tundra, tropical jungles. We build houses and wear clothes that match the environment. Dr. Venthia stopped typing and looked at Jake directly. Jake, has anyone ever done a complete survey of Earth's environment? Sure, Jake said. Scientists study it all the time. Why? I think there has been a terrible mistake in our records, Dr. Venthia said. Based on what you have told us, Earth should be classified as a Class 12 Deathworld. The class gasped. Jake looked around at their shocked faces. What's a class? 12? He asked. It's impossible, Zara whispered. No intelligent life could evolve on a Class 12 world. The conditions would be too extreme. But we did evolve there, Jake pointed out, and we're doing pretty well. Dr. Venthia's crystalline body was now flashing bright red. Jake, I need to ask you some more questions. Are there any other dangerous things on Earth that we should know about? Well, there are the animals, Jake said. Some of them are pretty dangerous. Bears, sharks, poisonous snakes, that sort of thing. Animals hunt other animals on your world? The bear creature asked. Sure, that's how nature works. The food chain, you know? Big fish eat little fish, cats hunt mice, wolves hunt deer. The room erupted in shocked whispers. Jake heard words like predator and impossible, and how are they still alive? Wait, Zara said. Are you saying that animals on Earth kill and eat other animals? Well, yeah, Jake said. How else would they survive? I mean, some animals eat plants, but lots of them eat meat. Humans eat both. Dr. Venthia was typing so fast that her hands were a blur. Jake, what is the most dangerous animal on Earth? Jake thought about it. Probably mosquitoes. They kill more humans than any other animal. Mosquitoes? They're tiny flying insects that drink blood. They spread diseases like malaria and yellow fever. They kill about 1 million people every year. The class was completely silent now. Jake looked around at their terrified faces and started to worry that he had said something wrong. Is everything okay? He asked. Dr. Venthia looked up from her computer. Her crystalline surface was now a deep red color. Jake, according to my calculations, Earth is not just a Class 12 death world. It's beyond our classification system entirely. Your planet is so dangerous that most galactic species would die within hours of landing there. Really? Jake said. It's not that bad. I mean, you just have to be careful. Careful of what? Zara asked. Well, you know, don't go outside during a hurricane. Stay away from volcanoes. Don't swim where there are sharks. Watch out for poisonous snakes. Basic stuff. The class stared at him in absolute silence. Jake realized that what seemed like common sense to him sounded like a survival guide for hell to everyone else. He said, maybe we should talk about something else? But it was too late. Word was already spreading through the academy that the human student came from a world so dangerous that it shouldn't exist. By the end of the day, every being on the station would know that Jake Morrison was not just an exchange student from a backwater world. He was a survivor from the most dangerous planet in the galaxy. Jake walked into the academy dining hall and noticed something strange. The usual chatter of dozens of alien species died down to whispers. Students at nearby tables moved their chairs away from him. Some got up and left entirely. He sat down at his usual table with his lunch tray. The food was okay, though he missed hamburgers and pizza. A few minutes later, Zara approached him carefully, like she was walking toward a dangerous animal. Jake, she said, may I sit with you? Sure, Jake said. Is everything okay? People have been acting weird around me lately. Zara sat down, but kept her distance. There are rumors about your world. People are saying it's more dangerous than anyone thought. Earth's not that bad, Jake said. I mean, sure, there are some risks, but humans have been living there for thousands of years. That's what I don't understand, Zara said. How did your species survive long enough to develop civilization? Jake took a bite of his sandwich. We're pretty tough, I guess. And we're good at working together when things get dangerous. Before Zara could respond, a new voice interrupted them. Excuse me. Are you the human student? Jake looked up to see a young woman with short brown hair and friendly brown eyes. She wore a blue academy uniform like his own. Yeah, I'm Jake Morrison, he said. Are you another human? Amy Chun, she said, holding out her hand. I just arrived yesterday. I'm a medical student from Johns Hopkins. Jake shook her hand, happy to meet another human. Great to meet you, Amy. How are you liking the academy so far? It's incredible, Amy said. Though everyone seems a bit nervous around me, I can't figure out why. Zara looked back and forth between the two humans. There are more of you coming? Just a few exchange students, Amy said. The program is still pretty small. Jake noticed that more students were gathering around their table, but staying at a safe distance. They were whispering and pointing. What's going on? Amy asked. I think I accidentally scared some people, Jake said. I was talking about Earth in class and they seemed pretty shocked. What did you tell them? Just normal stuff. Weather, earthquakes, volcanoes, basic geography. Amy laughed. Oh, no, let me guess. They think Earth is dangerous? Apparently it's something called a Class 12 Deathworld, Jake said. Whatever that means. Amy's eyes widened. Class 12? That's impossible. The classification system only goes up to Class 10. You know about the classification system? Zara asked. I studied it before coming here, Amy said. Most civilized species come from Class 1 or 2 worlds. A Class 3 world is considered extremely harsh. I've never heard of anything above Class 5. Well, apparently Earth is special, Jake said. Amy turned to Zara. What exactly did he tell you about Earth? He said there are storms with winds of 200 miles per hour, Zara said, and earthquakes that move entire islands, and volcanoes that could cause nuclear winter. Oh, Amy said. Yeah, that's all true. Though, Jake, you probably should have mentioned that most of those things are pretty rare. Are they? Jake asked. We get hurricanes every year. Not 200-mile-per-hour hurricanes, Amy pointed out. Those are Category 5 storms. They only happen every few years. That's supposed to make us feel better? Zara asked. Amy looked around at the crowd of students watching them. Why don't I give a little presentation about Earth? Maybe I can clear up some misunderstandings. An hour later, Amy stood in front of a packed auditorium. Word had spread quickly that another human was going to talk about the Deathworld. Students from dozens of species filled every seat. Hello, everyone, Amy said. I'm Amy Chun, and I'm here to tell you about Earth from a medical perspective. She clicked a button, and a holographic image of Earth appeared behind her. The blue and green planet looked beautiful and peaceful. Earth is indeed a challenging world, Amy said. But humans have adapted to live there quite successfully. A student in the front row raised her hand. It was Dr. Venthia, the crystalline professor. Amy, is it true that Earth has predatory animals? Yes, Amy said. Many animals hunt and eat other animals. This is normal for most ecosystems. But how do humans survive with such dangerous creatures? Amy smiled. Well, we're pretty dangerous. Ourselves? Humans are apex predators? The auditorium went silent. Amy realized she had said something shocking. What I mean is, she continued, humans are at the top of the food chain on Earth. We don't have any natural predators. None? Asked the student from the back. Well, there are some animals that might attack humans, Amy said. Bears, big cats, sharks, crocodiles, but these attacks are very rare. Humans are much more dangerous to them than they are to us. How are humans dangerous? Dr. Venthia asked. Amy thought about how to explain this. Humans are very good at hunting. We use tools and weapons. We work together in groups. We're persistent hunters who can track prey for days or weeks. You hunt animals? Zara asked. Some? Humans do, Amy said. Though most of us get our food from farms now. But yes, humans evolved as hunters. She clicked to the next slide. It showed a chart of human physical capabilities. Humans are also very tough physically, Amy continued. We can run for hours without stopping. We can survive extreme temperatures. We heal quickly from injuries. We can go days without food or water. A student raised his hand. What about diseases? Surely a death world would have dangerous diseases. Amy's smile faded. Yes, Earth has many dangerous diseases. Humans have survived plagues that killed millions of people. Millions? Dr. Venthia asked. The Black Death killed about 75 million people in Europe, Amy said. The 1918 flu pandemic killed 50 million worldwide. Smallpox killed hundreds of millions over the centuries. The auditorium was completely silent. Amy realized she was scaring them again. But here's the thing, she continued. Each time humans survived these diseases, we became stronger. Our immune systems adapted. We developed medicine and vaccines. Now we can cure diseases that used to kill millions. Your immune systems adapted? Asked the student. Yes, human immune systems are incredibly powerful. We can fight off infections. That would kill most other species. We can even eat foods that are poisonous to other animals. Like what? Zara asked. Amy clicked to the next slide. It showed various foods that humans ate. Chocolate is toxic to most Earth animals, Amy said. Garlic, onions, and grapes are poisonous to many species. Humans eat spicy peppers that contain capsaicin, which is literally a chemical weapon that plants use to stop animals from eating them. You eat poison? A student asked. We eat lots of things that would hurt other species, Amy said. Alcohol, caffeine, raw meat, fermented foods. Our digestive systems are very tough. Jake stood up in the audience. Amy, maybe you should tell them about human sports. Sports? Amy looked confused. You know, like extreme sports? Mountain climbing, skydiving, deep sea diving. Amy understood what Jake was getting at. Oh, right. Humans also do dangerous activities for fun? For fun? Dr. Venthia asked. We call them extreme sports, Amy explained. Humans jump out of aircraft for entertainment. We climb mountains that could kill us. We dive deep underwater where the pressure could crush us. We race vehicles at high speeds. Why? Asked a student. Amy thought about it. Because it's exciting. Humans like challenges. We like to test ourselves against dangerous situations. Let me understand this, Zara said. Humans live on a death world filled with predators, diseases, and natural disasters. And for entertainment, you do even more dangerous things? Pretty much, Amy said. And this is normal for your species? Completely normal, Jake called out from the audience. The auditorium erupted in shocked whispers. Amy could hear words like insane and impossible, and how are they still alive? Wait, Dr. Venthia said. I have one more question. What is the most dangerous thing on Earth? Amy and Jake looked at each other. Jake shrugged. Probably other humans, Amy said honestly. What? The most dangerous thing to a human is another human, Amy explained. We're the apex predator on our world. We're more dangerous than any animal, any disease, any natural disaster. You fight each other? Zara asked. Sometimes, Amy admitted. Humans can be very aggressive when we need to be. We're protective of our families and our territory. How protective? Dr. Venthia asked. Amy thought about human history. Wars, revolutions, the lengths people would go to protect their loved ones. Very protective, she said finally. The auditorium was silent for a long moment. Then a student near the back stood up. I think I need to leave now, he said, and walked out. Soon other students were leaving too. Within minutes, half the auditorium was empty. Amy looked at Jake. I think we scared them. Maybe we should have started with something less scary, Jake said. Like what? I don't know, puppies? Jake, human puppies grow up to be dogs. Dogs are descendants of wolves. Wolves are pack-hunting predators, Jake sighed. Good point. Doctor. Venthia was still at her seat, typing frantically on her computer. Her crystalline surface was flashing bright red. Dr. Venthia? Amy asked. Are you okay? The professor looked up at her. I am updating Earth's classification in the Galactic database. Based on what you have told us, Earth is not just a Class 12 death world. It is a Class 15 death world. Is that bad? Jake asked. Jake, Dr. Venthia said, a Class 15 death world is a planet so dangerous that landing on it should be impossible. The fact that intelligent life evolved there is beyond our understanding of biology. But we did evolve there, Amy pointed out. Yes, Dr. Venthia. Admiral Keffer sat in his office aboard the Veltar Defense Force flagship, reading the report from Zentari Academy. The blue-skinned military leader had commanded fleets for over 2 centuries, but he had never seen anything like this. Commander, Rexenal, he called to his aide. Have you read this intelligence report about the human species? Commander Rexenal, a younger Veltar with darker blue skin, approached the admiral's desk. Yes, sir, the analysts think it might be exaggerated. Exaggerated? Admiral Kethver looked up from his datapad. Two separate human sources have confirmed that their world is a Class 15 death world. They describe environmental conditions that would kill our best soldiers within hours. But sir, they're just students. How dangerous could they be? Admiral Kethver stood up and walked to the large window overlooking the fleet. Dozens of warships floated in formation, their hulls gleaming in the light of the nearby star. Commander, run a simulation for me, he said. Assume we need to invade a Class 15 death world. What would we need? Commander Rexonol worked at his computer for several minutes. Sir, the requirements are staggering. Every soldier would need full environmental suits. The ships would need massive life support systems. Even then, equipment failure would mean instant death. Now run another simulation, Admiral Kethver said. Assume the humans want to invade one of our Class 1 worlds. More typing. Commander Rexonol's face grew pale. Sir, they wouldn't need any special equipment at all. Our worlds would be like paradise to them. They could operate in conditions that would be vacation resorts by their standards. Exactly, Admiral Kethver said. And according to this report, humans are persistence hunters who can track prey for days. They have military-grade immune systems. They consider activities that would kill our soldiers to be entertainment. The Admiral's computer chimed with an incoming message. It was from General Thaxvara, head of Galactic Military Intelligence. Admiral, General Thaxvara said, we need to discuss the human situation. I'm sending you additional intelligence. The new files appeared on Admiral Kethver's screen. His eyes widened as he read. Commander, look at this, he said. The humans have something called extreme sports. They jump out of aircraft for fun. They climb mountains that would kill most species. They dive to depths where the pressure would crush our submarines. That's impossible, sir. There's more. They practice something called mixed martial arts, where they fight each other until one gives up or is knocked unconscious. They do this for entertainment. Commander Rexonol read over his shoulder. Sir, this says that human children play games that involve running, jumping, and physical combat. They call it playing. Their children train for combat, Admiral Kethver said grimly. And look at this medical report. Human bones are 4 times denser than ours. Their muscles are designed for high-gravity environments. They can survive injuries that would kill most galactic species. The Admiral's door chimed. Enter, he called. A new figure walked in. She was tall and lean, with short blonde hair and green eyes. She wore a dark blue uniform with insignia that Admiral Kethver didn't recognize. Admiral Kethver, she said. I'm Captain Lisa Parker, Earth Defense Force. I'm here as a military liaison to the Academy. Admiral Kethver and Commander Rexonol stared at her. This was their first time seeing a human military officer in person. Captain Parker, Admiral Kethver said carefully, welcome to the fleet. How can we help you? I'm just here to observe and learn, Lisa said. Earth is new to galactic politics. We want to understand how your military systems work. She spoke. Casually, but both Valtar officers noticed how she moved. Her steps were precise and controlled. Her eyes constantly scanned the room, noting exits and potential threats. She stood balanced on the balls of her feet, ready to move quickly. Please sit, Admiral Kethver said, gesturing to a chair. Lisa sat down, but her posture remained alert. I understand you've been reading reports about Earth. I hope our students haven't caused any confusion. Captain, Commander Rexonol said, is it true that humans come from a Class 15 death world? Lisa looked surprised. Class 15? I'm not familiar with that classification system. Earth is just ... It's our home. According to galactic standards, Admiral Kethver said, your world is beyond our ability to classify. The conditions that would kill most species. Really? Lisa said. It doesn't seem that bad to us. I mean, you have to be careful, but humans have been living there for thousands of years. Captain, Admiral Kethver said, what is your military background? I'm a Marine, Lisa said. I've done tours in Afghanistan, Iraq, and the Arctic. Now, I work with the Space Force on defense planning. Afghanistan and Iraq are locations on Earth? Commander Rexonal asked. Yes, desert regions with extreme temperatures and hostile conditions. Afghanistan has mountains over 20,000 feet high. Iraq can reach 130 degrees Fahrenheit in summer. Admiral Kethver checked his conversion charts. That's 54 degrees Celsius. Captain, that temperature would kill most galactic species within minutes. It's hot, Lisa agreed. But humans can adapt. We drink more water, wear appropriate clothing, and adjust our activity levels. What about the Arctic? Admiral Kethver asked. That's the opposite extreme. Temperatures down to minus 40 degrees. Ice storms, blizzards, complete darkness for months at a time. Commander Rexonal was typing frantically. Captain, our analysis shows that human soldiers can operate in environments that would require our troops to wear full environmental suits. I suppose that's true, Lisa said. We're pretty adaptable. Admiral Kethver leaned forward. Captain, what kind of training do human soldiers receive? Lisa thought about how to explain basic military training to aliens who lived on paradise worlds. Well, we start with physical conditioning, she said. Running, climbing, swimming, carrying heavy loads over long distances. Then we learn combat skills, weapons training, survival techniques. Survival techniques? How to find food and water? In hostile environments, how to build shelter. How to navigate without technology, how to treat injuries, basic stuff. Captain, Admiral Kethver said slowly, what you call basic stuff sounds like advanced special forces training by galactic standards. Lisa looked confused. Really? It's just normal military training. Every soldier learns this. How long does this training take? Commander Rexonal asked. Boot camp is about 3 months for basic training. Then there's advanced training depending on your specialty. Special forces training can take a year or more. Admiral Kethver and Commander Rexonal exchanged looks. 3 months to create soldiers who could operate in conditions that would kill most galactic species. Captain, Admiral Kethver said, I need to ask you about human military capabilities. If Earth were threatened, how would humans respond? Lisa's casual demeanor changed instantly. Her green eyes became hard and focused. Earth is our home, Admiral. We would defend it with everything we have. Everything. Every human, every weapon. Every resource. We don't give up, and we don't surrender when our families are threatened. The temperature in the room seemed to drop. Admiral Kethver realized he was seeing a glimpse of what humans were really like when they felt threatened. Captain, he said carefully, how many humans are there on Earth? About 8 billion, Commander Rexonal choked on his drink. 8 billion? That's larger than most galactic civilizations combined. And they're all from a death world, Admiral Kethver added quietly. Lisa's expression softened. Look, I think there might be some misunderstanding here. Humans aren't looking for trouble. We just want to learn about the galaxy and maybe make some friends. But if there was trouble? Admiral Kethver asked. Lisa was quiet for a moment. Admiral, there's something you need to understand about humans. We've been fighting for survival. Our entire history. Against nature, against animals, against each other. It's made us very good at staying alive. How good? We've survived ice ages, supervolcanic eruptions, asteroid impacts, and plagues that killed hundreds of millions. We've fought wars that lasted decades. We've never given up, no matter how bad things got. Admiral Kethver felt a chill run down his spine. Captain, what is the most important thing for humans to understand about galactic civilization? Lisa smiled, and her friendly demeanor returned. That we're all in this together. Humans believe that different species can work together and help each other. We've been hoping to find friends out here among the stars. And what's the most important thing for galactic civilization to understand about humans? Commander Rexonal asked. Lisa's smile faded slightly. That we're very loyal to our friends and very dangerous to our enemies. After Captain Parker left, Admiral Kethver and Commander Rexonal sat in silence for several minutes. Sir, Commander, Rexonal finally said, what do we do with this information? Admiral Kethver looked out at his fleet again. The powerful warships that had seemed so impressive an hour ago now looked fragile and inadequate. "We pray that the humans remain friendly," he said. "Because if they don't, I'm not sure the galaxy has enough firepower to stop them." Commander Rexenol pulled up the tactical analysis on his screen. "Sir, I've been running combat simulations. If humans have the physical capabilities described in these reports, and they have 8 billion soldiers—" "Don't say it, Commander." "Sir, they could conquer the galaxy with rocks and sticks." Admiral Keth. 3 months had passed since news of humanity's Deathworld origins spread through the galaxy. The reaction had been mixed. Some species wanted to study humans from a safe distance. Others demanded that humanity be quarantined to prevent them from spreading through galactic space. The worst reaction came from a group of Veltar supremacists led by Commander Thexara. They believed that humans were too dangerous to be allowed to exist. They saw humanity as a threat to galactic civilization that needed to be eliminated before it was too late. Jake Morrison sat in the Academy library, trying to study for his final exams. It was hard to concentrate when other students whispered and pointed at him wherever he went. Some were fascinated by humans, asking endless questions about Earth. Others were terrified and ran away when they saw him coming. "Jake," a voice called softly. He looked up to see Zara approaching his table. The blue-skinned student council president looked nervous but determined. "Hi, Zara," Jake said. "How are you doing?" "I'm fine," she said, sitting down across from him. "Jake, I need to ask you something important." "Sure, what's on your mind?" Zara looked around to make sure no one was listening. "Do humans really want to conquer the galaxy?" Jake blinked in surprise. "What? No, why would you think that?" "There are rumors," Zara said. "Some people think that humans are scouting for weaknesses. That you're here to learn about our defenses before your armies arrive." "That's crazy," Jake said. "I'm just here to study geology. Amy's here to learn medicine. Lisa's here to understand how galactic governments work. We're not spies or soldiers." "But your species is so dangerous," Zara said. "You come from a world that would kill most of us. You're stronger and tougher than any known species. Why wouldn't you want to take over?" Jake thought about how to explain it. "Zara, just because we can do something doesn't mean we want to. Yes, humans are tough, but we're also curious. We want to learn about other species, not hurt them." "Really? Really?" "Earth is a big place with lots of different countries and cultures. We've spent most of our history learning to get along with each other. Now, we want to learn to get along with the galaxy." Zara seemed to relax a little. "I hope you're right, Jake, because there are some people who think the galaxy would be safer without humans in it." Before Jake could respond, alarms began blaring throughout the station. Red lights flashed and an automated voice spoke over the intercom. "Emergency. All students report to designated safe areas. This is not a drill." Jake and Zara looked at each other. "What's happening?" Jake asked. "I don't know," Zara said. "We should get to the emergency shelter." They ran through the corridors with crowds of other students. The academy had detailed emergency procedures for everything from equipment failures to asteroid strikes. Jake had memorized all the protocols during his first week, but when they reached the emergency shelter, they found chaos instead of order. Students were packed together in panic. The air recycling system was making strange noises and the lights kept flickering. "The ventilation system is failing," someone shouted. "We're going to suffocate." Jake pushed his way to the front of the crowd. The control panel for the life support system was sparking and smoking. Several alien technicians stood around it helplessly. "What's wrong?" Jake asked. "And the main processor is overloaded," one of the technicians said. "The system can't handle this many people. We need to evacuate some students, but the blast doors are sealed." Jake looked at the control panel. It was similar to systems he had worked with back on Earth, just more advanced. "Can I take a look?" "You know about life support systems?" the technician asked. "I've worked on mining equipment and vac systems," Jake said. "The principles are probably similar." The technician stepped aside. Jake examined the smoking control panel and traced the problem to a burned-out circuit board. The system was trying to provide air for twice as many people as it was designed for. I can fix this, Jake said. But I need to shut down the system. For about 10 minutes? 10 minutes without air? Zara asked. That will kill everyone. Not if we ration the air we have, Jake said. Everyone needs to stay calm and breathe slowly. The air in here will last about 15 minutes if we're careful. The alien technicians looked at each other uncertainly. They had never dealt with a crisis like this. Trust me, Jake said. I know what I'm doing. He started working on the control panel while explaining what he was doing. Within minutes, Amy appeared at his side. Need help? She asked. Where did you come from? Jake asked. I was in the medical bay when the alarms went off, Amy said. The blast doors sealed me in with about 50 injured students. I had to crawl through the ventilation ducts to get here. The ventilation ducts? Zara asked. Those are only 18 inches wide? Tight fit, Amy agreed, but I made it. What's the situation here? Jake explained the problem while continuing to work on the control panel. Amy immediately started organizing the students, showing them how to breathe efficiently and stay calm. Everyone. Sit down, she said. Sitting uses less oxygen than standing. Breathe slowly and deeply. Try to relax. How do you know this? Asked one of the crystal students. Basic survival training, Amy said. Every human learns this stuff. Captain Lisa Parker arrived just as Jake finished repairing the control panel. She had somehow gotten through the sealed blast doors and made her way to the emergency shelter. How's everyone doing? She asked. Jake fixed the life support, Zara said. Amy organized the students. How did you get in here? Emergency access tunnel, Lisa said. I had to crawl about half a mile through a maintenance shaft, but it wasn't. Too bad. The alien students stared at her. The maintenance shafts were designed for robot repairs, not living beings. They were narrow, dark, and filled with sharp metal edges. Wasn't too bad? Asked one of the insect students. I've been in worse places, Lisa said casually. The life support system hummed back to life, and fresh air began flowing into the shelter. The students cheered and applauded Jake. Emergency over, Amy announced. Everyone can breathe normally now. As the students began to relax, Zara approached the three humans. How did you do that? She asked. Do what? Jake asked. You fixed a complex alien technology you'd never seen before. Amy crawled through spaces that should be impossible for a human to fit through. Lisa navigated maintenance tunnels in the dark. And you all stayed calm during a life-threatening emergency. We're just good at solving problems, Jake said. It's what we do, Amy added. Humans are good in crisis situations, Lisa explained. We think clearly under pressure. Later that day, they learned what had caused the emergency. Commander. Vexara and his supremacist group had sabotaged the Academy's systems. They had planned to kill all the students and blame the humans. Claiming it was proof of how dangerous Deathworld species were, the plan had backfired completely. Instead of proving that humans were dangerous, the crisis had shown that humans were the galaxy's best protectors. While other species panicked, the humans had calmly solved problems and saved lives. Admiral Kethver arrived at the Academy the next day to investigate the attack. He found Zara and several other student leaders waiting to speak with him. Admiral, Zara said, we have something important to tell you. What is it? The humans saved us, she said. When our systems failed and we were all going to die, they fixed everything. They didn't panic. They didn't run away. They just solved the problems and made sure everyone was safe. I see, Admiral Kethver said. Admiral, said Dr. Venthia, I have been studying human behavior for 3 months. They are indeed the most dangerous species in the galaxy. But they are dangerous to the galaxy's enemies, not to its friends. Admiral Kethver nodded. What are you suggesting? That humans are exactly what galactic civilization needs, Dr. Venthia said. They are protectors. They use their strength to help others, not to hurt them. A month later, Jake stood before the Reformed Galactic Council. Representatives from hundreds of species filled the great assembly hall. At the center of the room was a new seat for the human delegation. Members of the Galactic Council, Jake began. 3 months ago, you learned that humans come from what you call a death world. You discovered that we are physically different from other species. Some of you were afraid of us. He paused and looked around the room. I understand why you were scared. Earth is a dangerous place by galactic standards. Humans are tough because we had to be, but being tough doesn't make us mean. Jake clicked a button and a holographic image of Earth appeared behind him. But this time, instead of showing hurricanes and volcanoes, it showed cities and farms, forests and oceans, all the beautiful parts of his homeworld. Earth taught us to be strong, Jake said, but it also taught us to work together. When hurricanes come, we help our neighbors. When earthquakes happen, we rescue people from the rubble. When diseases spread, we take care of the sick. Humans don't see other species as enemies or prey, he continued. We see them as neighbors, as friends, as family. Jake looked directly at Zara, who was now serving as the Academy's ambassador to the Galactic Council. Someone once asked me why humans don't want to conquer the galaxy, Jake said. The answer is simple. We didn't come here to take over. We came here to learn, to share, to help. He clicked to the final image. It showed humans and aliens working together at the Academy, studying side by side, helping each out.